Hi, in this tutorial, we're going to be going over finding roots. So in this tutorial, you'll learn how to find square roots, how to evaluate models containing square roots, how to use a calculator to find decimal approximations for irrational square roots, and how to find higher roots. So a square root has the form b squared equals a. So if b squared equals a, then that means that b is a square root of a. So here's an example. 2 squared equals 4. So that means that 2 is a square root of 4. Now the principal square root says that the principal square root of a is the non-negative number that satisfies b squared equals a. So here's an example. The non-negative 4, the square root of the non-negative 4 is 2. Now, the negative square root of a negative number, is not a real number. So you can't take the square root of a negative number. So here's an example. The square root of negative 4 is not a real number. So let's do an example. Let's evaluate the square root of 100. Well, that's just 10 because 10 squared equals 100. Now let's evaluate negative square root of 100. Well, that's negative 10 because negative 10 squared equals negative 100. Now let's evaluate the square root of negative 100. Well, you can't take the square root of a negative number. So that is not a real number. Now the principal nth root states that the principal nth root of a real number means that b to the n equals a. So if we have n, the nth root of a equals b, that just means b to the nth equals a. So here's an example. The third root of 64 is 4 because 4 cubed equals 64. Now, a natural number n is called the index. And this is a symbol we use that's called a radical sign. The square root is also called a radical sign. And a radicand is the expression under the radical sign. So a would be the radicand. So if the index is even, the radicand must be non-negative for the root to be a real number. And the principal nth root is non-negative. It's a non-negative number. So let's do an example. Let's evaluate the third nth root of 8. Well, that is 2 because 2 cubed equals 8. So you're just trying to find a number that when cubed equals this radicand, 8. Now let's evaluate the third nth root of negative 125. Well, that's just negative 5 because negative 5 cubed equals negative 125. Now let's evaluate the fourth nth root of 81. Well, there is no number that when taken to the fourth root equals 81. So that means that this is not a real number. Because it does not exist. Now let's evaluate 4 nth root of negative 81. Again, we can't take the negative square root of a negative number. We can't take the square root of a negative number. So this is not a real number. So in this tutorial, you learn how to find square roots, how to evaluate models containing square roots, how to use a calculator to find decimal approximations for irrational square roots, and how to find higher roots. Now try and solve problems in our Finding Roots workbook. For more help, sign up for online tutoring. And in the next tutorial, we're going to be going over multiplying and dividing radicals. Thank you.